So now that you know all your dorm options, how do you choose where to live? And how do you find a roommate? By this point, you should have completed a few steps in the One Book, the hub for all incoming freshman-related tasks. One of these steps will link you to the online housing system, so you can sign your housing contract, which guarantees you a room on campus. These become binding after 5 days. You'll choose your meal plan here, so be sure to research that beforehand. You'll fill out a questionnaire about your lifestyle, which you can later use to search for potential roommates. More on that in a second. If you qualify, you can also decide if you want to live in a residential learning community. In years past, students literally got to select their exact building and exact room, but since JMU has over-admitted students, you get to rank the buildings, and you may or may not get one of your top choices. Yay! Important to note is that if you and your roommate have different rankings, they'll assign you a dorm based on the rankings of whoever paid their enrollment deposit first. There are tons of different ways to find a roommate. Living with someone you met in high school, messaging someone through the online housing system, finding someone on a different social media platform, or going random. If you don't have a roommate at first and want to find one, the online housing system can either automatically generate potential people for you based on your answers to the lifestyle questions, or you can search based on specific criteria. If you find someone who seems like a good match, you can message them through the portal, give them your contact information, etc. People might not reply, so it's a good idea to message a bunch of people. I did not do that. I struck out with the first person who messaged me because we had similar lifestyles and a couple niche interests in common, so I was like, sign me up. She reached out to me through the portal and gave me her Instagram, and we chatted from there. And then I moved dorms the first week of classes. Yeah! Unrelated pro tip, ask your roommate if they snore before you move in together. Now, obviously, I'm just one person with one experience, and a very unique experience at that. So I talked to a few people about how they found their roommates. So how did you find your roommate?
Well, I decided to random room the first time, and I got the message trying to contact her and stuff, but she wasn't responding to any of my messages.
I found my roommate on the JMU Find a Roommate service.
Me and my roommate met online. We started talking on Instagram, and then we talked for about 3 months.
The big story that I've been told is stuff that can happen in colleges is something just called ghosting, and it's kind of a lot like normal ghosting with friends where someone just doesn't show up. It's a thing that happens where the students just kind of don't show up to the university, which is really strange, but apparently very common.
I found her on the roommate portal site for JMU.
So after that all happened, I found out that I now had an empty roommate, so anyone who kind of needed to swap out could come and room with me, and I was totally okay with that.
I went online and answered the list of questions, and then ended up choosing a person that was relatively having the same preferences as me.
So I was given a very ominous email, basically saying this is the name of the person who is possibly going to room with you. You have to contact them and stage a meeting within 24 hours, or something very bad's going to happen to you and your family. And I was really scared.
Okay.
We first messaged on the housing system, and then we switched to Instagram because it was easier.
My roommate and I went to high school together.
I was talking to my friends and I was like, I don't know, what if I don't like her? And they're like, no, Emily, this could be our new best friend. And lo and behold, she was. Because,
It's me!
Whenever I got accepted to JMU, she got in a couple months after me, and her dad went in the portal and accepted the decision for her, and then she just came and she's like, we're roommates now, and yeah, that's pretty much how it happened.
That's actually crazy. What the fuck? Okay. How's it working out for you?
no roommate.
It's working out good. Josh is a good roommate.
It's good. Yeah, she's a pretty good roommate. We talked about a bunch of roommate agreement stuff way before we roomed together, so.
Since we're super close friends, we're very much we can go through each other's things without any issues. I'll go through her closet, she'll go through my closet.
Him and I are kind of friends, but not best friends, which is kind of what I would want. We have a good living situation.
It's worked out pretty good. I mean, we haven't had any issues, which is great, and she's exactly how she was online. And she didn't change her whole entire personality, which would have been low-key toxic.
If I had it my way, I'd probably be going to bed a couple hours later, but I guess it forces me to be a better student.
And she's very organized, and it almost like guilt trips me into being very organized.
Just because she keeps it a little cooler, and like I'm always cold, so I'd like it a little hotter. But that is about it, just the temperature.
I don't know, it's nice to have someone that like you're on like the same wavelength, and you're kind of like, we're ready to be chatty, and also like we're ready to kind of just like have like our parallel play.
What kind of things did you consider when choosing your roommate?
Well, she actually asked most of the questions, but bedtime, room temperature was a huge one.
The first thing I kind of considered was how often they'd be out, like if they'd be partying.
It's like I didn't want her to be like I don't drink or smoke, I'm pretty religious, so I didn't want her to be coming over with guys every night and like smoking in the room and drinking in the room and going out until midnight and being locked out of the room. Like we kind of discussed that stuff beforehand, and it helps for sure.
After that, it was just kind of the other basic things that were on the housing form, which were like sleep time, temperature, kind of things like that. Josh and I actually disagreed on a couple of those things, but it seems we've ended up working it out.
And study times, who we're bringing back to the room.
My biggest thing is I just wanted someone who kind of was willing to meet me in the middle for that kind of stuff.
And otherwise, I guess I would just say a person that I can just get along with and talk to if I need them, but I'm not going to be too overly involved with because I feel like your best friend shouldn't be your roommate.
I also wanted someone I'd be friends with, so I was looking for people who kind of were like-minded, had similar vibes as me.
Even though it didn't work out the first time, I feel like I got like the perfect fit for like a freshman roommate because they're very fun and like outgoing, but also very reserved, and it's like a really good balance for me.
The perfect freshman roommate. Crying behind the camera right now. Above all else, finding someone who is considerate and respectful of your shared space is the most important. But ideally, you'd like to find someone who has some lifestyle similarities. You can ask when they go to sleep and when they wake up. And if they wake up earlier than you, are they quiet in the mornings? What's their opinion on guests, particularly having people stay overnight? Are they going out to drink every night or staying in? What do they need to sleep? Noise, a fan, total darkness, or a little light? How often do they clean? And how much stuff do they plan on bringing? What temperature would they set the room to? Do they have any allergies? Are they looking for their new best friend or just someone they can coexist peacefully with? It's a lot to consider, but remember, not everything has to match up. Not everything is going to match up. Prioritize things that are non-negotiable, and if you can find someone nice, everything else can be worked out. And worst case scenario, you can move rooms after the first 2 weeks. Or the first day of classes if you're like me and had a dire situation. Once you've found someone to room with, you need to make a roommate group and invite that person. My roommate was the one who made the group, so I don't personally know how to do it, but I do know that it's through the online housing portal, and I would imagine it's fairly intuitive. Just remember to accept the invite or have them accept it. Oh look! Our housing assignment came in. JMU will notify you over email when you've been assigned housing. For me, it was early August. You can see the full assignment in My Madison by going to Student, Student Center, and scrolling all the way down. Each building is assigned a time to pick their move-in slot through the portal, which will be sent in an email. I recommend coordinating with your roommate to move in at different times, at least a couple hours apart so you're not both crammed into the room. Deadlines for signing the housing contract and selecting a roommate, as well as the date you'll be assigned housing, can all be found on JMU's website. I don't want to say any dates here in case they change in the future. The housing contract covers the entire year, but room and board is billed on a semesterly basis. Meal plans are also billed per semester, but the meal plan that you select only lasts a semester, so you can adjust later if needed.